All right. I'm sorry. I'm late. 10 minutes back. I'm waiting for
Hey,
Chris OC's.
Yeah. Because this probably won't fit into the show well, and it's not really a long thing here. I just wanted to let you know, Rem, that I was in the grocery store. I think it was yesterday. And the person in line in front of me gets up to the register to pay. The cashier lady says, "Hey, how you doing?" And he does the whole, "Oh man, well today he just goes off on his whole thing." And I just rolled my eyes and I was like, man, I wish you were here for this, because this is just glory. I mean, he's going into a whole spiel of how terrible his day was and stuff. And it just made me laugh.
Hey, how you doing is not an invitation for a conversation. It's a very polite greeting that we need to get away from. We need to stop using it.
Yeah.
Hey.
As if the cashier's going to fix all of his problems? Be like, "Oh, hey, you know what? I know a contractor who, he might be in line behind you. But, I know someone that could fix your whatever, like, rebuild your carburetor." Yeah, right, dude.
I got a freaking mental case that works for me. And he's all upset because somebody asked him how he was doing. And he comes, he's like, "Can I talk to you?" And I said, "Yeah, what's up, man?" And he's like, it's fine for some people, but for me, nobody deserves to know how I'm doing. Nobody needs to ask me how I'm doing." And I'm like, okay, but I mean, you understand, it's very, it's a
social
it's a
norm.
very well accepted greeting. It's just a social thing. Nobody actually wants to know how you're doing. They're just something.
They don't actually care.
Yeah, but
don't worry.
Nobody should ask me that. So, all right, that's okay. All right, man. So we stopped asking him how he's doing. But guess what? It's like, "Hey, guy's name." That's how we say. That's what we do in the morning. Or, "Good morning, guy's name." And he says, "Oh, hey, how are you?" He'll answer, "Perfect, oh, hey, how are you?" It's like, motherfucker. All right, let's. You guys ready? Let's get moving here. I don't want to hold everybody up too. I got to work.
Pow, pow, pow! Do it!
Pow, pow, pow! Adam, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Randy's good. I see the smile on his face. Okay, let's do this. Let's do it. Let's do the thing.
He used to do a World of Warcraft advice podcast. He even did the original Drunken podcast, changing the game and influencing a generation of podcasters. But he was disgraced, accused of crimes he never committed. Shamed, he disappeared. By the grace and generosity of Mr. Rich Dickman, he was raised again. Seconded by his co-host, definitely not main host, Ray, Rem Dickman has returned, sexier and more handsome than ever. This is The Rich Dickman Show, the greatest podcast ever produced by Rich Dickman with Rem and Ray. Featuring executive producer Randy, producer Ryan, Matty from Australia, hot drummer Newsbaden, and Svensson. The Rich Dickman Show, your slightly better than mediocre podcast.
Hey, everybody. I just got a text from Chris OC asking if Biden made his denial calm enough. He's such a fucking asshole. Fuck you, Chris OC. Everybody,
why are you looking at
episode
Twitter?
130. I had to tweet the thing. No, he asked me. He texted me, Adam. He
texted me. You had options.
Yeah. I did have options. I could have ignored them. I'm sorry. It just happened. Anyways, hey, it's 130, episode 130 of the Rich Dickman Show, the podcast that is slightly better than mediocre. I am your host. I am Rem. Once again, here on debate night, the final debate of the 2020 election. So exciting. It's so exciting that we're actually doing a show during the debate because, goddamn, who wants to sit and watch a couple of old fuckers just like fucking talk old speak? Especially one of them looks like he's fucking dying. Like, I mean, really. I mean, can we be honest about this for a second, you guys? I know we all probably agree in here, but I mean, like, one of them just looks really, really bad. Anyways, that's enough because people get mad. I'm Rem. Ray is here. Ray, good evening, my friend. How are you, buddy?
Hey, good. I've done nothing since last show except eat, sleep, and study politics because it's that important to me. So ask me any question, and I'm prepared.
You're prepared. Cool. I will. I'll ask Chris OC for a list of questions to ask you while we move on and say hi to our other guest tonight, joining us for the whole show, and once again returning for the third time. It is Adam from Houston, live on video. Adam, good to see you, buddy.
Hey,
literally. We needed a rating spike, and you spiked the ratings, so here you are, bud.
You don't say. You go to a whole 8.5 whenever I'm around.
We go to 9 3/4 spell. It's big.
Shit.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah. And all the way over there in Ohio land is Randy. Randy, you don't have to say hi because it takes you 20 minutes, but I'm waving to you. Love you, buddy. Good to see you. Okay, we got a lot to do tonight. Okay, Adam's here because we want to talk about prison and possibly legal marijuana now because he mentioned it. Adam is a very smart and well-versed individual, Ray. And if you ever can't make a show, the first person I'm asking outside of Matt from NFHC is Adam from Houston. So, get ready. And there's Randy too. Randy's always there as executive producer. I didn't want to forget you, buddy. I'm sorry. Okay. But we do have a lot to do tonight. Okay. We have Adam. We talked to Adam. Ray and I listened to episode 10 of the Personal Experience podcast, and we're going to review some of that because, hey, guess what? I was mentioned. And so we're going to talk about that. All right. And it looks like we have some Dick of the Week. Well, no, excuse me. It's Dick of the Year. We have a Dick of the Year nomination from HDNB. Wow. And of course, we have looks like we have Thinking with Your Dickman in there and whatever else we get to tonight. So let's get into it. Oh, first, richdickman.com for all your Rich Dickman needs. All right. Ray, Adam, good to see you. Ray, let's start with you. Ray, what's new? How's things?
The Tooth Fairy had to make a visit this week to our household. So Stella already has her top 2 front teeth missing, which have been gone for a long time. So she looks like someone that like a meth addict. She's missing a bunch of teeth. It's bad. And so we were sitting there in the kitchen yesterday, and she goes, "Hey, look how loose my tooth is." And we're like, "Oh, cool. You want me to pull it out?" And she's like, "No way." Like, she could literally have a tooth hanging out of her mouth, hanging by a thread, right? And I'll be like, "Hey, all I got to do is just tap it. It's going to fall out." And she's like, "Get away from me." So my wife goes, "Hey, here's a paper towel if you want to pull it out yourself," kind of as a joke. And like 2 seconds later, Stella's like, "Hey, look, I pulled it out." Choking up my own spit here. So,
oh, good.
We thought that was quite entertaining until she goes, she looks at us and she's as serious as possible. She goes, "How does the Tooth Fairy know that we moved?" And my wife and I were like, "Okay, so all she really cares about is pulling that tooth out so she can get her money."
Yeah, let's cut the brass tacks here. How much you paying and what you doing with the teeth, Buster?
I know, right? Well, so, and this is where I think she heard the story. Oh, go ahead.
With all the frozen breast milk, I'm sure it's in their fridge or somewhere, right?
Yeah.
They put all the teeth inside of the breast milk and make a little breast milk teeth cube for extra bone healing powers.
Yeah. There's that, or baby rattles, or you sell them at some trade show. Like, which one is it, bud?
Or a
we play a game called breast milk roulette, like Russian roulette, where we got little ice trays that we put the breast milk in, so it looks like a tooth. And then we keep the baby teeth, and you gotta eat one. You hope that hopefully you didn't get the baby tooth.
Hopefully you're not playing with your own tooth when it falls out.
Yeah, this is money makes the world go around. How much you paying?
So she's heard the story. We had some family friends. The guy said that he maybe had a couple drinks too many before he went to his wallet one night to go put some money under the kid's pillow for the tooth. And he was like, "Shoot!" The kid comes down the next morning. "Look, the Tooth Fairy left me $20. And he was like, "Oh, son of a bitch. Like, this kid's going to think every time they lose a tooth, they're going to get $20. But we gave her $2. But the reason I had to give her, I would normally only give her $1.
Cheap ass.
That doesn't get you anything these days.
Whatever. Kids don't need
you
money.
You barely afford a double cheeseburger with $2, Buzz.
Well, what do you think a 7-year-old's going to do with money anyway?
Invested in the stock market.
Yeah, your Robinhood account.
Early.
She did receive a tip about a telecoms company. That money's all down the drain.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
in Virgin Galactic, that's the hot stuff. That's what's making all the cash monies.
Yes.
Is it going up? Is it going up right now?
Oh, you just wait. You're going to be rolling in $11 billion.
Or is it just low right now? It's just still low. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'll buy you dinner, Ray, with all the money I get from my 1.5 shares.
Hell yeah. But so last night I stayed up a little late, had a couple drinks, and then realized when I woke up this morning, I was like, I got to work and I was like, oh crap, I forgot to go get the tooth and put the money under there. So I had to sneak home at lunch. and had to do this whole rigmarole of like, my wife had to distract her. I had to run upstairs, do the thing. I went and I cracked the window open, and then I had to sneak back downstairs. And I was like, "Hey, Stella, I heard that the Tooth Fairy sometimes they've been really busy, so they're coming in the day now." She's like, "No." She's such a sweetheart too. She goes, "No, I've kept checking, and I left the door open and the light on just in case." I was like, "Oh, you're such a sweetheart." And I was like, "Well, maybe you should go check again." So she goes up there, and obviously comes running back down the stairs. "Yeah, Tooth Fairy!" And I was like, "Well, how did she do it?" So I was trying to get her to like, try and sell it, right? So I had to go up there, and I was like, "Let's go investigate." So we went up there and took her a few minutes, but she finally saw that the window was open. She's like, "Wow, how'd she do that? Magic, awesome!" But so we've. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed that she pulled it out because I was really hoping that I could do it live on the show and just have her, like, bring her in here and just pull the tooth out. I think that'd be way cooler. But
no. God damn. My daughter went from freaking out over her first tooth being lost, like in tears and scared, like she had to go to the hospital, to ripping them out herself. And now she's got them all gone. They're all done. Wow. I'd be curious though, Ray. I'd like to know how your son does with his teeth in 8 years if we're still talking to each other. Mm-hmm. Based on my history, we probably won't be. But let me know. All right.
You might have a success story. Yeah. Hey, speaking of old people that you used to do a show with, but don't really talk to anymore. I think I saw a Huell sighting. I think whether he's in ISIS or not, I think I saw him in a music video. Do you got that link?
Yeah, I'm going to click it right now. All right, put the link in the chat for everybody. Go to where?
If you go to about 25 seconds and 1 minute, it's brief, but you'll see him. You tell me if that's him.
All right. Oops. All right. Was he supposed to be the valet? Ray, that's incredibly racist of you.
What the hell? But it doesn't look like him.
Ray, what's the matter with you?
Does it not almost look like him
now? Ray, are you
the gangbanger who's high in the car?
No, right after that, you'll see.
Oh, there he is again.
Yeah, see, it doesn't look like him a little bit.
He's stealing the car.
It might be.
Ray, it doesn't look like him at all. And there's no old tattoos on his chest. God damn.
Well, it doesn't. What the hell show his chest or belly?
I have to edit all this out because of your racism. Jesus Christ. That's enough out of you. Adam, what's going on, man? What's happening with you since the last time we spoke?
Oh man, got a soundboard. Look, the power of the soundboard. Mere mortals shouldn't have this kind of power. It's so strong. Oh, yes. You can win like any argument just immediately. As soon as someone starts talking, you just nope. You just keep on hitting them with the nope. It wins every time.
Love it. What do you got? The little buttons you press? What
yeah.
For a soundboard there.
It's a 4x8 like series of LCD screen buttons, and you can program to do pretty much anything. You can make them like open up programs on your computer. You can program them to do macros and all sorts of weird shit. It's normally for streamers, but I just wanted a soundboard for a couple of reasons. One, it's fun to fuck with people on Discord, and also I have a D&D style game, like a tabletop game that I run. Only this game's called Deadlands, and it actually has like guns. It's set in like an alternate history, like a real world. So, having like sound effects for like opening doors and shooting guns and stuff like that. I thought it was useful for that as well. Plus, it's really good for the comedic relief.
Fantastic! I hope we get some interesting drops tonight, Adam. It's like me, it's wide open. Do whatever you guys want. I got right. I have to say, but yeah, it's cool.
You heard that I plugged your show, right?
Yeah. So I want to get into that, but I have a couple things I have to get to first. I do have a lot for Adam tonight, so I gotta space myself out and make sure I get to the stuff that I need to get to. Okay, so number one is that in less than 2 weeks, November 3rd, it's the election, the United States presidential election. Okay, between two old guys.
What's your over and under on this election?
What do you mean?
What do you think the chances are? Who's it leaning towards? What are your odds?
Oh, it's going to be. I don't have odds. Okay, are you really? Okay, God damn it, Adam. So I'm going to do it because I'm not a pussy. All right, but listen, here's the thing. All right, one of the guys is drawing thousands upon thousands of people. Another guy speaks to empty car lots. Okay, so I talked to Hot Drummer News Babe earlier tonight because I want to get her in on this. It's either going to be a landslide and we'll know the winner on election night, or it's going to be drawn out into December and January through court battles and recounts and all other bullshit. I hope that's not the one. Let's just get a landslide.
It might suck, and that it might take like a week to count everything, opening up all the envelopes and shit like that for all the mail-in votes, and that would really suck too. Like where we're just kind of sitting around twiddling our thumbs and being like, "Well, we voted. We'll figure it out sooner or later."
Right. We're an instant gratification society. We want to know now. So having to wait is going to make everybody even crazier, which isn't cool. And I hope that doesn't happen. I hope it's just a blowout, one way or the other, just be done with it. But my gut tells me that the incumbent wins, just based on enthusiasm, really. I mean, God damn, another guy was in his basement for 4 days for debate prep. But that's okay. Dickman 2020, listen, we won't win, but we'll make a statement. All right, get your votes in there. Mm-hmm. Rem Dickman 2020. All right. Election night is coming up. And what I'm trying to do is Ray and I have talked about this. Adam, you're welcome to join. Randy says he'll be in. I would like correspondence. I want to do a podcast on election night. I want to start at 10 p.m. Eastern. All right. And I want to go over the results that are still coming in. And I want to have quote unquote reporters, our listeners from all over the country talking about anything election related. All right. I want to go full politics.
I've watched the drunken peasants do this the last election, and all they did was just jumped between all the news sites, looking at all the numbers, and they scooped everybody. They were able to call everything before any of the official newscasts just by checking Google and Yahoo News all the time, and everybody else. Right. They were able to call it well before any of the actual mainstream news outlets were calling things.
I love that you said that because it makes me feel even cooler, except the part that it's not an original idea. So I'm going to pretend that the drunken peasants didn't do it. And
I couldn't tell you the first time someone streamed on election night, but I'm sure as soon as they had it down, some people did.
Yeah, so I want Adam, if you could give us reports from Texas, that would be awesome. Randy's got the Ohio Valley. I got Ray in California. I want to bring Hot Drummer News Babe in for the Northeast, but she said she's going to kill herself if the Orange Man wins. I told her not to do that. That would not be cool. I don't want to answer questions from the police. But anybody else who wants to be a part of this, even that bitch ass Matty from Australia, if he wants to weigh in from Australia on the election, I would love that as well.
Australia's not real.
Working. No, it really isn't. Oi, I'm made up in my mind. Oi, fucking asshole. All right. So election night is November 3rd. If you want to get involved, send me an email, richdickmanshow@gmail.com, or send me a tweet or a DM at remdickman on Twitter, and we'll work it out. Okay. All right. That's that. Okay. All right. So, gentlemen, you should know I've been doing a lot of sewing with my daughter. That's right. I know how to sew. I'm not very good at it, and I made the mistake of saying I knew how to sew. And I have a sewing machine that was made in 1980. Yeah, it's old as I am, Ray. And we were sewing, and we just sewed a book cover last night, and all sorts of things. So yeah, I'm sewing.
You're sewing.
Fucking fantastic. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I just kind of make it up as I go along, just like my life.
You're like Bizarro Demolition Man.
Yeah.
See, really nice skill to have. When the world does end on election night, we get a civil war, everyone goes nuts, society collapses. You will be a hot commodity when people get, they're like, oh man, I need a new pair of pants. I need to fix this hole in my pants, my shirt. You're going to have a line out your door. You're going to be rich with cigarettes stuff and whatever people trade for.
You're going to be a seamster.
That's what we need. Yeah, a seamster. That's great. We need skills for the new world and the new economy that's going to be falling upon us in the next few weeks. So I'm sewing. I don't know that we'll be allowed to create content like this anymore, depending on who's in charge. So I'm gonna do something.
Hey, there's a decent number of people that think that Biden's going to end up ahead. That's actually what's moving the weed market. Kamala Harris said that she would decriminalize weed in the vice presidential debate, and that actually made most pot stocks jump up like 10%. They've been steady climbing between 3 and 5% every day since then.
I saw that. Like the one that I can buy from Canada is climbing. I haven't bought into it yet because it's too unstable. But I don't know what I'm doing, nor do I put any money into it. I do little.
I had bought in
tiny
at one of
bits.
the worst times, but after I bought in, I kept my ear to the ground, and I also bought in some more at almost one of the best times. I actually managed to catch this stuff on one of the lowest swoops it ever took, and I'm invested on a buyout from happening. There's a contract already inked that if America ever decriminalizes weed, that this company Canopy Growth will buy out another American company called Acreage Holdings for some ludicrous amount of money that turns into a stock conversion. So it's a way you can buy the American stock and have it convert over into the Canadian stuff and go on that gamble. And the discount for buying it that way is pretty significant. So so I'm kind of excited maybe. And really it's funny talking to people about politics because I don't really have a political opinion. I can't even vote, man. I'm a second-class citizen. So, I mean, what does my opinion matter? But I do have money in the game. And if people ask me, I'm like, I'm a one-issue voter. I care about that money. And so if Biden gets in, it's worth a lot of money to me. So that's what I care about. Like I couldn't give two shits either way.
I hope it works out for you. I hope you do well.
Well, I got a 10-year runway. I thought that was a good bet. I think that it's going to get at least decriminalized within 10 years. I thought that was a very safe gamble to make.
No matter who's president, that's coming. It's got to be coming. It'll too many states.
It'll swing that way eventually. Yeah, and there's too much money on the line.
Absolutely. It's probably one of the better things we could do for this country is get everybody high instead of drunk because drunk people are assholes.
And stop arresting people for smoking weed. That's such a waste of time.
Yes. Absolutely. It'll be weird though, like at Christmas. I had this conversation with Ask Producer Chris that he's all excited for if Connecticut ever legalizes because at Christmas time, instead of putting a whole bunch of booze out on the table, he's going to put a whole bunch of edibles and joints and stuff.
Fuck yeah, I'd much rather have it that way. I don't like being around sloppy drunk people. I'd much rather be around like lazy, super high people. Yeah,
absolutely.
I can't wait to hang out in like weed bars like it's no big deal. That would be the shit.
Yeah. Oh, and when I was talking to Hot Drummer News Babe about her killing herself if the Orange Man wins, please, again, don't do that. It's a joke. Don't do that. Oh my God. But she said she'll move to Costa Rica. And I said, screw Costa Rica. I want to go to the Netherlands because if I'm going to do drugs, I'm going to do high quality drugs all the time. And then she said, there's no winter in Costa Rica. And I said, okay, that's too much sun. Netherlands it is. So yeah, there we go. I got my plan. I'm good. I'm ready to go. Ray's okay. All right. I want to get to this one first, and we're going to dig into some Adam. We can get right into some Adam. All right. But as we all know, I come from a rich history of podcasting, Ray. I started this game back in May of 2012. All right. 8.5 years ago, I started a little podcast called Torn Think Tank. That podcast is no more, obviously, and I left a couple years later. You can hear the whole story, episode 39, and again on, I think it was 113. We talked about the Marconi stuff. Also, you can listen to all the emails that were sent between when we broke up at our Patreon, patreon.com/Rich Dickman. Okay, anyways, so my old co-host, she's been bouncing around doing a lot of things since then, and, Torn Think Tank has ended, and this year she started a brand new podcast called the Personal Experience Podcast. She's done 10 episodes so far, and the most recent episode was about her journey in content creation. So that kind of piqued my interest. that piqued my interest because I'm thinking, Jules's journey through content creation does not start without Rem. So I wonder how she addresses the delicate subject of Rem Dickman. Well, I listened to it, Ray, and so did you. And I pulled some clips. I pulled a few clips, so it's going to take a few minutes. All right. And Adam, if you have thoughts or questions, please feel free to ask because
you piqued my curiosity.
Yeah. So if you got anything, get it in there. Okay, this is where Jules brings up me for the first time and how we started a podcast together. And there's some inaccuracies.
And at the time, Rem had just gotten a new iPhone, I'd been listening to podcasts for years. I'd been listening to WoW podcasts, but just casually, it was like, I didn't really think that I would ever really do it, but I was like, oh, wouldn't that be cool if I could make a podcast? And Rem's like, I've got this iPhone now. What do I do with it? And remember, this is 2012. People are just starting to get to smartphones. And I said, listen to podcasts. So he did. And he started listening to WoW-related podcasts. And he messaged me one day and he said, we could do better than most of these other podcasts. Do you want to make a podcast with me? And I remember responding back immediately saying, I'm in.
Okay. So I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, wow, she's actually telling the story the way it happened, because most of that is true. I did get an iPhone. I said, what do I do with an iPhone? She said, listen to podcasts. So I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to WoW podcasts, and they were all terrible. So I messaged her one day and I said, my God, a lot of these shows are terrible. I could do better than these shows. I want to start a podcast. And then she said, I'll podcast with you. And then I said, okay. So it's a little different. I didn't ask her.
This sounds all about the he said, she said bullshit. Are you sure that? Can you prove this? Do you have any? Do you have any receipts?
Adam, for the longest time, I had the text messages, and then I switched phones. I don't have them anymore, so I can't prove it. But
wow, that's very, very convenient, man.
Yeah.
You don't say.
So the podcast doesn't happen unless we get my buddy Fit to figure out how to podcast for us. Okay, so this is Jules talking about how we get things together. Okay,
we didn't know anything about it. We didn't know how to do it. We had no clue. There weren't the tools that there are now to start a podcast, which are just hella easy, by the way. They've made it so much easier to start a new show. But back then, you'd have to know someone who knew how to program an RSS feed. And we didn't know how to do any of this stuff. We didn't even know how to record ourselves. We didn't know what to do. But Rem had a friend of his who was very smart, and he figured all of these things out. And eventually we built a website. We had an RSS feed, and we sat down. I sat down on my bed with a laptop and a headset mic, and I recorded the first show of Torn Think Tank in May of 2012.
Okay. As I take a sip of water. Okay. So,
wow.
Rem had a friend. It's funny that she can't remember that friend's name. His name was Fit, by the way. You can hear him on the Liquor Fueled episodes, okay? He's the one who got everything set up the RSS feed, set up the website, started editing the show for the first 20-something episodes, so I learned how to do it. He's the one who set up audio cables for us. He taught us how to stream. He did every little bit. He was our executive producer at the time. He figured all that out. Jules stayed at his house one night when she came up to Connecticut. They were visiting family in New Jersey, and they came to Connecticut one night to hang out with us. She stayed at his house. Fit bought and paid for the original website, and Fit bought and paid for the original hosting. And she conveniently forgets his name. I don't know. That may not bother anybody else, but it bothers me. It bothers me, Ray. And what's funny about this is I'm looking at you, Ray, while I'm playing these clips, and you're just getting so annoyed with her voice.
Yeah. Well, you know what else is it's just interesting to me that, I mean, to an extent, she's. I don't know.
I'm confused about all this because I'm like, what? There's a chick to play World of Warcraft?
Yeah, what? I know, right? Well, you know what?
How'd you find this diamond in the rough, Rim?
Adam, around that time, 2012, when I was playing WoW, that was one of the things. Like when I first started listening to podcasts, and I came across Torn Think Tank, I was like, wow, there's a female voice. Like, you know what I mean? And it was one of those where you go, I need to know more. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so rare. Just saying, right? So that's one of those, the quick hook. And then obviously you stay with the content's actually any good or not. But, and it was. But, you're right, though. It's you're making a joke of it to an extent, you know what I mean? But, it's true. It's very true.
Well, what's the ratio, you think, of chicks that play World of Warcraft versus dudes?
Well, when I was playing, it was no worse than 70-30 and probably closer to 60-40 because my guild, I had, we ran about 60-40 in my 10-man raid team, males, females.
Yeah. We usually had at least 30%, I think, females, if not higher, in all of our raid teams, at least. So yeah, but on a podcast and being vocal about things, I mean, they, you know, a lot of them that I ever played the game with were very shy, very reserved.
How long did the Torn Think Tank last?
Torn Think Tank with me on it lasted 114 episodes, about 2.5 years. Total, it went 300 episodes. They ended in January of 2019. And what also annoys me, and I don't mean to cut anybody off, and I'm thinking of this now, is that, you know, Fit bought, designed, paid for the original website, and Jules decided she wanted to get the website redone. So she hired somebody to redo the website and paid this person, I think that the bill was going to be $500. She paid somebody $500 of our our t-shirt money, the money we sold computers with, to redesign the website to what it is now. It's still up there. And that person that she hired never finished it. So she had to pay more money to somebody else to finish it. And I had to be the asshole to tell Fit. I'm like, Jules wants to redo the website and she's paying somebody for it. I know you did all of it for free and you paid for it originally, but now she's paying somebody else to redo it. Like,
it doesn't even look nice right now.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well,
yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Real quick, to give credit where credit's due, kind of going back to what you were saying, Adam, just to cap this off, is I will say that her as a female, having a front and center voice in that community, there's a lot of crazy guys out there. So props for that, just in general. I think that's probably why there's not that many females that will actually be outspoken, if you will. So, I mean, you just gotta, there's some fucking weird ass dudes. I mean, just in general, right? Go ahead.
Right. You don't even know what's coming next, but that segue is perfect because in this next clip, Jules talks about the struggle of being internet famous.
It was a wild ride. You go from being someone that nobody knows to having people know who you are and either liking your stuff or criticizing you and not being ready for it, especially within the scene of the WoW podcasting community. You come in and people don't know who you are. You do your little networking thing where you start to get to know other content creators and you start to talk to them and eventually hope to make some friends, hope to make some allies, hope to learn from each other. And sometimes that happens. But a lot of times what happens is that if you show too much initiative to certain people, they try to cut you down. They try to sabotage you. They say bad things about you. I went through all of that. But I was lucky.
She was lucky.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine. You just can't get into it because they would never understand.
So as we move further here in the episode, number 10 of the Personal Experience Podcast, Jules will start outlining how she met different people, and she's going to go into how she met Pat Crane. Now, everybody should know this, is that she did not like Pat Crane or Convert to Raid the podcast when we first started doing Torn Think Tank. I was a Convert to Raid Pat Crane fan, mostly a Coltrane fan. But I said to Jules, Jules, you're going to Nerdtacular in a couple weeks. You got to meet Pat Crane. I don't care where you are. Go say hi to him. Just say hi. Just tell him who you are because we're cool. We're fucking awesome. Because I was always pumping her up and telling her to do these things. But the struggle. She hated that shit. When somebody would give us even the slightest bit of negative feedback, it became a goddamn week-long discussion. Rem, don't chew so close to the microphone. Rem, don't say gypped because it's offensive to people. Rem, people want to know what you do for work.
People.
Why aren't you?
What the?
Thank you. Apparently they're Romani. I have no idea. I got this weird email one time that said gypped, and it's that was my first experience with cancel culture.
To the podcast on anything they didn't steal anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. So every little bit of negative feedback became she got in with these people called the Hoarderlies early on. And then they were, one of them did a podcast. What the hell is the Hoarderlies podcast? I don't know, but one of them got so angry at me. The 9th episode of Torn Think Tank, I was giving Arcane a hard time, and one of them got so angry at me that he wanted to fist fight me. And she decided it was a good idea to send me that text exchange. And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you out of your mind? Okay.
Do it.
So this next clip is Jules talking about how after she had the initiative to meet Pat Crane, that she got involved in Convert to Raid. All right, this is good.
About a year and a half. Because of that friendship, many doors opened for me. Yeah. I got to guest on his show, Convert to Raid, several times, which really gave me a lot of exposure to a lot of other fans who didn't know about Triple T. And I even wound up running Convert to Raid show for Pat while he went on a 3-week vacation to Italy. I actually ran the show and hosted it for him. And this is me. Zero experience with ever doing a podcast before. I had no audio background. I had no hosting background, and I just learned it all. I just teach me, show me, help me. And that's what I did.
So this is how you know everything I'm telling you is my version of the truth. And listen, there's bias, of course, and there's, I know where I screwed up in all this, and I've documented that. And I'll tell you again if you ever ask me, but listen to episode 39 or 113. This is how you know I'm not fucking around, is that I was jealous. I was so jealous because I was a fan of Convert to Raid and Jules wasn't. And then she went and met Pat Crane. And all of a sudden she's doing all the cool stuff with Pat Crane and hosting the show and guesting on the show. And Pat Crane never even asked me to do anything of that. And that's just fine. It's his prerogative. But I will say I was incredibly jealous because I wanted to do that. And they did a special from Las Vegas when she was out there shit talking me behind my back, by the way. And I was just... And then I would get mad at her when she wouldn't talk about Torn Think Tank. Like, she'd be on the other show and not once plug our show. Like, what the fuck is the matter? Why wouldn't you plug our show just once? Just, hey, Triple T, tornthinktank.com. So, I was...
Well, that's why I laughed when she says she was trying to network. She was like, oh, and we started and we're trying to network. To me, I hear desperation in her voice. I need to be famous. I want nothing more than to be internet famous. That's what I'm hearing. And you can, in my opinion, I mean, I don't know what's going through her head, but you see the number of things, which we'll get to, that she has done on the internet since 2012. And to me, it's a sign of literally anyone gives her an inch, she's going to take a mile with trying to run with it, right? Like you're saying.
From an unbiased perspective, from someone that knows absolutely nothing about all this, it sounds like she was more trying to think of moving upwards and onwards, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
where she was able to
no
use anything as a rung to get further up in something, then why not?
Yeah, but that's where I'm saying it wasn't necessarily about, like, she's talking about, like, oh, she was saying, like, we did this for the show and this and that, but it's not, she's not giving credit where credit's due either, with, like you're saying, fit. But it goes back to just, she's just any opportunity for her to get, up the ladder. She's willing to do that, which, to your point, Adam, nothing wrong with that. But to me, she sounds desperate.
It gets worse. Okay. So let's move on. All right. She's finally going to talk about Rem leaving Torn Think Tank. And to my knowledge, this is the first time she's ever talked about it outside of episode 115, where she didn't say anything.
About a year and a half into my time doing Torn Think Tank.
Okay, that's the first mistake. A year and a half? Are you fucking kidding me? We did 2.5 years, 114 episodes of that show. A year and a half? Come on. I've done more than on the Rich Dickman show. All right, I'm sorry.
Became very popular and very well respected. I lost my co-host to a horrific misunderstanding where he assumed one thing about something that had happened with us, between us, in terms of, like, direction of the show and his relationship with my ex-husband. And instead of talking to me about it, he packed up his toys and left. And left me with a horrible decision of whether or not I wanted to continue doing the show, or should we end the show? Because, I mean, I wasn't prepared for this. Plus, I had lost the person who I had started this journey on, which was very personally devastating. I don't think I've ever actually gotten truly over that situation, and it's never gotten its full closure. And, it is what it is. It's really disappointing. And Rem and I are no longer friends and will never be friends. I'll put that out there for real. It'll never happen.
For real. Never happened.
And so, that was really tough. And what happened then is I decided that I was actually going to keep the show going. I got the rights to everything.
Got the rights.
I got the access to run everything, and I learned how to do it myself.
Access better. So, a lot of things going on there. 2.5 years. All right. And it wasn't just a horrible, it was a horrible misunderstanding. But it's nice that she absolved herself of any guilt in that whatsoever.
Yeah. And there was a lot of conversation.
Well, she said it is what it is, man. As soon as someone says that, it is what it is what people say whenever you're getting charged too much for weed. That's what that means, man.
Yeah.
Man, whenever anyone says that, I'm like, what's that supposed to fucking mean?
There's always something else, and this would have been a great time for her to address it and say something about it, because she's no longer married to her husband, so she could talk all the shit she wants to. But I guess we're not going to do that. But as we all know, it was not just a horrible misunderstanding. She allowed her husband to send me a disgusting email insinuating that I had feelings for his wife that I did not have for my own wife. And at that point, I don't know how I could have gone on with the show with the two of those assholes thinking that about me. But we'll leave that part out. And it is what it is, Adam. It is what it is. Yeah. She got access. She got the rights after she got the rights. begging us to give her the access to the show because she wanted to keep going. There was no decision to keep it going.
How gregarious of you. It's very, very kind of you to just be like, sure, keep on going. Because I don't want to have anything to do with your crazy bullshit.
And I said to her, yeah, you can. I would encourage you to keep the show going just without me because I don't want any part of the two of you. What's the point I wanted to get on?
How did its numbers do after you left?
I don't know because I didn't have access anymore. But from what I heard from people is that Ray and Randy tell you the quality kind of dropped off. And you can look at the reviews. You can see the reviews after I left.
Yeah,
the reviews disappear.
Well, if they're dropping, I gotta ask you. Yeah. Is it satisfying seeing that? So that's an interesting question. Is it satisfying? You know what? I'll be honest. Yeah, it is because I knew what part I had it, but my numbers didn't pick up either. And the stuff I was doing on my own, it's not like I picked up a whole new audience. I disappeared. The whole problem with the whole thing is me not getting ahead of the story and just letting it go. If I had come out immediately guns blazing, things would have been different, maybe for the worse. I don't know. Oh God, there's a point in there I wanted to hit on. I can't remember what it is, Ray. So Ray, say something while I think.
I still go back to, it just cracks me up that she was basically getting in saying, she didn't know how to do this. I didn't know how to do that. Oh, he left me alone. And then I figured out how to do it. But it's like, well, if you were doing it for 2.5 years, you never took any initiative to try and learn how to do any of that? Like you literally...
No, she compressed time. It was 1.5 years.
Well, yeah, right? Well, I mean, Ram and I have been doing this for about 3 months, so...
Hey, look at me. I haven't had like a nice microphone and a camera, but for like a week and some change, it's not rocket science.
No, that's what I'm saying. You take some initiative, but she just the way she's telling the story is like the cards were stacked against her. Like the odds.
I had to Google things and buy cables.
Yeah, so it's like it
was a mountain uphill both ways
of a molehill, right? Like she's making it sound like she had some huge uphill battle. You're like, I mean, the reality is doing this, just doing it, not that hard. If you've been doing it and communicating with your partner, like you could figure out how to do it, and you're not actually stranded alone, completely neglected and left for dead, right?
Yeah.
So she's trying to embellish quite a bit there. What's up, Matty?
Like I packed up my toys and I walked away. Like, right? Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. Come on. All right. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. I love how she said your toys.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Soundboard.
My toys.
Microphone.
Did you take your He-Man action figures and then leave?
Her husband literally accused me of using her for things that my wife wasn't providing. Okay. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm going to continue doing
what, like making sandwiches?
Yeah. making sandwiches and being nice to me. All right, so this is the show must go on. We just have a couple more after this one.
So that was a really tough moment of, but what happened after Rem left, and I had to try to explain it without explaining exactly why he left, because he didn't tell anybody why he left, and it wasn't my story to tell. It's never my story to tell when someone does something like that, but I had to be the one to pick up the pieces of it, and so I did. And I'm grateful that I did, because the amount of love and support that came to me through the community was insane. And I just knew that the journey wasn't over. The show needed to go on, and it needed to do more.
Because I liked Jules a lot. She was a very good friend of mine. I did not tell the story at the time because I did not want to affect her or her. Apparently, I was affecting her in her marriage, in her relationship. Somehow, according to her husband, I didn't want to do that anymore. So I let it go, right? I was going to be done with it. And again, probably not the best course of action on the internet, but it is what it is, Adam. And so I let it go. I let it go, but I'm such a terrible person. Okay, so Jules then went to work for Pat Crane later, and I was always curious about this. But she actually does talk about not working with Pat Crane anymore. We got two more clips.
I hope you got the best part. I hope you got my favorite.
2 years later, Pat made the decision to end his business and also my contract, and he decided to move from Minnesota to California, and that was devastating. It's still devastating to me, because the way that he handled that situation was not good. And it ended our friendship, our long-standing friendship, for good. And it was tough. I struggled a lot.
So I just want to point out that she detailed me leaving. In between me and Pat Crane, she talked about divorcing her husband, and now she's talking about leaving Pat Crane. I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, so everything has a happy ending. So here's our happy ending.
So if you don't think that you can do the thing that you dream about doing, if you don't think that you can get to where you want to be, I challenge you to ask why you feel that way. Because I am older than anybody on my team. I am a woman, and I am doing the goddamn thing.
What does she have against women?
So
like women can't do shit.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
God damn.
Oh, cringe.
Oh, God. Yeah.
When I started listening to this, I thought, hey, oh man, Jules has the story mostly right. It's not that bad. Oh, wait a second, we're never going to be friends again. Okay, I'm going to put this out there right now. Jules, or anybody listening to this who wants to pass this message on to Jules, I'm right here. Come on. Let's do a show together, because I'll do one with Jules tomorrow, because it'd be the greatest goddamn podcast in the fucking world outside of the Rich Dickman show. Because it would be
or a complete train wreck. Who knows?
Either way, it'll be a lot of fun, and I would
never
do
go
it.
full retard.
Yeah. Could we have talked about things a couple months after? Yeah, but I also felt like I was completely disrespected and how did I put it? Set aside like a piece of shit.
Well, that was years ago. It's water under the bridge.
Water under the bridge now. Listen, sounds like Jules needs to go to therapy for a few things and talk about these issues that never got closure, because I got closure on them, Ray. I talked about them.
Oh, don't be salty, Rim.
And hey, listen, it helped me, right? I was sitting in my therapist.
It sounds like you just burned a bridge. Just set the bridge on fire and walk away, man.
That's what I'm doing. I'll set the bridge on fire, then I'll put it out. That's my type of.
No, you got to actually walk away, though. That's part of setting the bridge on fire. Is that you never go back to the bridge because you know it's not there anymore.
Sorry, Adam. When somebody tells a mistruth about me on a podcast such as this with 10 listeners, I'm going to have to respond to it. And she did not.
I'll just let them scream in the ether. Who cares?
They're all a bunch of fucking pussies.
Podcast drama, serious business.
Hey, it made Dick $20,000 a month. So that's it. Ray, do you have any other thoughts outside of her voice? Like she's crying and all, like very emotional and.
Yeah, I am very. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm really mad at you right now because you didn't clip the part that when we were texting about this. My favorite part. was how she said that got a job. I think it was the one at Pat Crane's company or something like that. But it was that or another one. I don't even know. Whatever. It doesn't matter which one it was. But she was saying how she got promoted like 5 times, and I'm like, it's like a fucking 2-person company. Like you're boasting like you fucking climbed the corporate ladder, tooth and nail. It literally fucking 2 people. Like, don't even play this game. Like, you guys make up these fucking titles. Like, literally make these up on the spot. Like, every week you get out a new title. Don't act like you.
I had a job where they let me make up my own
fucking
title.
Effort. Whatever. I'm dying laughing, dude.
What's
I could
your
not
made-up
stop
title,
laughing.
Adam? What's your made-up title?
Oh, I was an information gatekeeper is what the title I gave myself. I just had access to like a company's files, and
Nice.
and whenever they had some messed up organizational things, I would just have to untangle crap basically. But they didn't have this position anything, and I technically worked for the company, but it was a temporary job. Like, it was just something I was going to do over the summer and then bounce out of there. So they just let me write my own title. Because, like, I don't know, it was for the company my dad worked for. It was a big oil company.
That's awesome. I love that. Give yourself your own titles. All right, Adam, Randy, if you can do anything, we got to unmute Matty for a few minutes because I told that asshole to call in, and I'm not going to miss this opportunity because he's here. Matty from Australia, you look fat as fuck. What's going on?
I look fat as fuck. That's nice.
Sad. Why are you so you're
sad? Oh, I just woke up. Man. Like, it's 10. It's 11 a.m. in the morning, and just
snap.
God damn.
Woke up.
No, you look handsome. Noon. It's good to see you. Listen, Matty.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to be here. I've been working a lot lately, so I haven't been able to jump in. But yeah, awesome to have me on. Thanks for telling me to call in.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you finally, woke up to do it. So I appreciate that, taking the initiative there. In less than 2 weeks, Matty, we're having an election here in the United States of America. And would you?
Is that soon?
Yeah, can you take?
Have you ever heard of it?
That Wednesday off, and that way you can be an Australian correspondent for us.
Wednesday in 2 weeks. I will get back to you, but I'll try and see what I can do.
Well, you can call in from work. I don't give a shit. Just let us know what's going on down there. Matty,
who's going to win?
Oh, see, Adam was trying to bait me into answering that question, and I kind of did. Like, I think Trump's going to win. I'm voting for Rem Dickman. Actually, I will be writing in my own name, but I think Trump's going to win. Yeah, Adam will.
Why
be.
Not
Adam's
Kanye?
No, fuck Kanye. Kanye ain't gonna do shit. Randy's voting for Kanye. I'm voting for Rem Dickman. I don't know why Randy wouldn't vote for Rem Dickman, asshole. But Adam wants Biden to win because of the marijuana legalization, and Ray doesn't vote. Ray doesn't.
I'm still studying. Still making my determination.
Who do you think's going to win, Matty? Being in Australia.
Yeah, Trump's going to win by miles.
Yeah.
My opinion only. Obviously, I voted. Didn't vote. I bet on him last time. The world gets all their media out of New York and California and Connecticut and those states. They all hate him. But if you're in the middle of the country, you just want your fucking job and your family, and it's the lowest unemployment rate forever before COVID, obviously. But yeah, he's going to flog it in. He'll win by miles.
Why'd you have to say Connecticut?
But something's different this time. Old people are scared.
Let's put everybody out of work to protect the old people.
Hey, there's some people that are confident enough in that where I'm watching the markets and you're kind of seeing how money's moving around. And it's like, ooh, there's some people they're betting on the legal marijuana play. Mm-hmm. Because they think that the legislation might get off the ground if the Democrats take the Senate and the White House. That's a bit of a stretch, but it's not. It seems like it's within the realm of possibility.
Not being able to have controversial thoughts is going to be okay when we just get high all the time. So you know what? It's going to be a little bit of this, for a little bit of that. What are you going to do?
I don't know. I don't know how if they're going to be very censorious. Like, I don't know, because the brand of Democrat that would be taking everything is sort of like, he's still a neo-lib. It's basically like, the Bill Clinton branch of bullshit. So, I mean, we've seen this before.
Man, I miss the Democrats who are all in favor of pornography and titties. Like, I miss those Democrats where you could just say shit all the time. They're gone. Like, I don't know any more Democrats who are in favor of actually my own rights. But hey, who knows? When Rem Dickman takes control of everything, it's be great. Hey, Matty, what did you think? You came in kind of during the clips. I love your shirt, by the way. Bad guy Roman Reigns is like a supervillain, and it's fucking awesome. I love Roman Reigns right now. It's a wrestler, everybody. Matty, what do you think of Jules's version of events of history?
I wrote it. I wrote it in the chat. Everybody leaves Jules, but it's never her fault.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how that.
I get abandoned by Rem. I get abandoned by my husband. I get abandoned by Pat Crane. But I've done nothing wrong ever.
Yeah, it's never.
But I'm a woman, and I'm doing this shit.
Yeah, doing the goddamn thing. She's a woman. What does she have? I thought women could do anything.
Yeah, why you gotta take the Lord's name in vain? I mean, you're just doing a podcast.
Yeah, it's not that important. Oh man! All right. So enough of that. Thank you for humoring me, Ray, Adam, Randy, asshole Australian guy. Let's get into some Adam
Fuck
here.
You.
Adam, you have famously had an exciting life, and we've talked about two parts of it. We've talked about we went generally about it, and then we talked about your hustling days. And that episode has my favorite episode art that I did, Ray, in it, our hustling episode 121.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, Adam. It's a great. It's got,
my back piece is on it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Okay, so. You've told some prison stories, all right, but I think you wanted to come back and be a prison expert. And I know, we got to talk about the Dick Show too. All right, so we get to prison in a second. Adam, how did the hell did you get yourself on the Dick Show?
I asked.
Oh, okay. All right. So if I were to ask Riley to book me, what would I say I could offer? Because see, that's my thing. It's like I don't think I'm very good at anything.
I can tell you exactly how this happened. So Riley is on your Discord, and I'd heard of this dude before, and I kind of know of him tangentially. So after the Boogie situation happened, I made a bonus episode with Dave, and we talked about like the legal situation surrounding that shit and how ignorant it is, and what a reasonable person would do, or what you should do if what transpired. What you should do if someone just shows up to your door, or if you think that someone's harassing you. And I was like, you know what? I just upgraded all my shit. So I just messaged Riley I just hit him immediately with DMs and said, hello, I'm Adam from Houston. In light of the Boogie situation, it crossed my mind that you might want an expert on the situation. If someone's looking for, I just said that I shot someone over a personal beef that landed me in the legal system. I'm most likely the most unique guy to talk about it. And he just asked if I could explain the situation. I gave him a real brief chomp down of what had happened and told him that I've been on 3 other podcasts talking about it.
Yep.
And he was like, sure, call in. And so I'd never talked to Dick before. I'd never really, interacted with the Dick Show community like at all. And so I just went to calling in. And that shit was fun. Yeah. It was cool talking to Dick, actually.
How was it when they were constantly interrupting you?
Well, no, I was kind of prattling on. I mean, there's a lot to unpack for the uninitiated. There's so many things that people there's a lot of baseline shit about like prison that people don't understand.
Yeah.
Like it has its own culture. There's a lot of like social taboos about what flies and what doesn't. There's a lot of just kind of understandings about how shit's supposed to operate. And it takes a lot of time to explain that type of shit. And when I called into Dick, I'm like, hey, you need someone to talk about prison, because I've listened to the Dick Show for a long time, and he's thrown that out there before, actually, that he was wondering about prison. And no one ever really called in about that shit, which I was kind of surprised of. I figured that he'd have a big enough listener base to find someone to call in about that shit.
Yeah.
And I guess really he did have someone. I just happened to be the guy.
He had Lettuce Jones at one point, but that guy disappeared.
Yeah. But really, these people didn't do time the way that I did time.
Right.
Because, I was locked up for 5 years, man. Really, it's a little bit under 5 years. But, I mean, if you just round it by normal rounding rules, it goes to 5. So it's just easier to say it that way.
Was there any of that got edited out? That's just a quick question I just thought of.
No, that was straight through.
Yeah, I didn't think
it was actually a pretty breezy, like, natural conversation, too. Like, I don't know. For whatever reason, Dick would talk to me, like, kind of like approach what I had to say in an interesting angle that I wouldn't necessarily expect him to come from. But what's funny is I think, I could kind of tell that he was picking up what I was putting down.
Yeah. Yeah, I like talking to Dick. When we had him on 108, I like talking to Dick a lot, but I could tell that this wasn't the type of show that he was into. Because, we're not,
you heard I plugged your show, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I that was fantastic when you did that. I talked about that on this show, I even played the clip, is that when you said, I'd like to plug something if you don't mind, remdrinkscum.com. And then Sean says, oh, God, the long con.
And I was like, you know what? Fucking Rem said the exact same shit. It's like, it's just a long con.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, not many people have websites called remdrinkscum.com unless it's an OnlyFans
It's
site.
a classical troll. And so I think that this joke is about played itself out, really. We can cut the kayfabe here. I really, when it was something that I had just thrown out there that Matt thought was hilarious and bought the website. I had no idea where it came from. I thought it was funny enough that I just dry picked it up without understanding it at all and just tried to take it places. And, I wasn't expecting to shout that out on the Dick show. That's pretty funny.
It's great. And then you said, you were on his show a couple times, the Rich Dickman show, and he no response, nothing.
Yeah.
But I think
you're right. It said you were on his 108. I knew the lore.
I think Spaghetti killed the kayfabe of remdrinkscum.com when he didn't know what a sommelier was and texted me asking me if I was Somalian. That took all the wind out of those sails. All right, so Adam, when you get into prison, all right, so on your way in, were you in county jail or you were in like?
All right, so you got to go to county first.
Yeah,
and county jail in Harris County sucks. And so if you're in a smaller podunk area, you're just kind of going to be locked down. I mean, it's going to be ass. But if you're in a really big city, it's kind of a problem. Because jail's pretty rowdy, because they're throwing people in there that are drying out or whatever the fuck they were doing. People are pissed. Fucking tensions are high. So there's a lot of fighting, and there's not a lot of repercussions from people beating each other's ass and shit like that.
Right.
And so jail sucks. Jail sucks a lot. And I was in jail for 9 months fighting my case.
Really?
I had a...
Go ahead.
Oh shit! I'm trying to remember what my bond was. I think it was like $45,000, something like that.
Jesus, you didn't even kill a guy.
Yeah, but it was 2 cases of aggravated assault, which are $20,000 each, I believe. It's been a decade since I thought about this, and then $5,000 for the weapon charge.
You should. Oh, this was back. What year was this, Adam?
2010.
Okay, so you couldn't have said, "I'm a Democrat, let me out." That wouldn't have worked back then.
It does. That has absolutely zero play in anything.
Stop it, Adam. Just go with the joke. Jesus Christ.
I mean, you tend to fuck around with guns. Yeah, the state gets pissed off.
Yeah, in Texas.
And is liable to throw some charges at your ass. And, fairly early on, I knew that it was time to buckle in, buckaroo, that this is gonna be a while. You don't fucked up this time, that kind of thing.
What jail? So you went from county to what's it called? The next level. What's that? State pen?
Okay, so after county, you get sentenced, and then you go to just prison. It's a transfer facility in Texas, and so you spend 2 years in prison. It's still prison, but it's just transfer. And once you spend longer than 2 years, once you've been in prison for 2 years, they ship you out of a transfer facility and into your ID unit, which is where you spend the rest of your time. So if you got a long ass sentence, you're like, let's say you got a 20-year sentence, you're going to spend 18 of that in an ID unit, and you're going to spend 2 of that in a transfer facility. That's I don't know how other states do it, but that's how Texas does it. And transfer sucked, actually. There's a lot of shit that you can't do in transfer that you can do at an ID unit. It's a lot more laid back at an ID unit because a lot of people have been there for a long time. And these people have like gotten in the groove of things, and they just know how to skate by doing their time and find their ways of making it manageable. But in transfer, there's a lot of people that are like on edge. And I mean, a lot of people are short timing it too. Like you can sign for 20 years and get out on parole for after about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half. If it's like a drug charge that's not aggravated or anything like that.
Right. So, okay. So you going into prison, and I assume at some point, having talked to other dudes who may have been in prison in the past, when does the strip search happen? Is that at county? Is that at the ID unit? Is that at the
like the whole damn time? As soon as you get to county, they're strip searching you, and you're just liable to get butt naked because guard feels like being an asshole that day.
Right.
Like there's one of the transfer units I was going in through. The unit that I went through to first go into prison was Butt Naked Gurney. That's what they called this place. And man, they just every time there's just people pulled over getting butt naked everywhere.
Really?
Like if it's time to go to chow, as soon as you go outside, someone's butt naked out there. They're just constantly strip searching people all the fucking time. It sucked.
So because it happens so often, are there dudes who just like purposely don't shower or don't wash certain areas just so it's extra stinky? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised. Some people just got bad personal hygiene, man. Yeah. Sometimes people gotta like be like, "Hey, motherfucker, you like wash your fucking ass." Like I've seen that happen a couple of times.
That reminds me, when I was in basic training. One of the first nights we had they formed up the whole platoon. All right. And they had one of the drill sergeants up there and said, "Tonight I'm going to teach you how to wash your ass." And he went over how to take a shower and how to use soap and where to use soap and how to dry. I was like, I'm sitting there like, God damn, they're doing this for a reason. That means they get people coming to basic training who don't know how to wash their ass. So you probably get that in prison too. Huh.
Yeah, well, I mean, it can be kind of bad. There was this one dude, oh man, his teeth were like brown and they were like porous. It's almost like there was stuff growing in it. And the heat that would come off this guy's breath was fucking serious. Someone actually bought this guy a tube of toothpaste off a commissary. His breath was that bad. Yeah. And the guy, he slept on a bottom bunk because this guy he took like psych medication. And so he was able to get like a medical bottom bunk pass where he had to be on the bottom bunk. And he'd be like, he's fat too. So he'd be like snoring really loud with this heat breath coming out. And the guy that's sleeping above him, like his cellie is like, I can feel the fucking air on my sides. I can feel the heat coming around my arms from this dude's fucking breath. He was so fucking pissed. But this guy ended up psyching out of there. And if you want to psych out, that's a fucking bold move, Cotton. Let's see where this takes him. So if you don't like where you are and you're like, you know what, fuck this place, I'm getting out of here. You always have the option to psych out. Just do some crazy shit to go to a psych unit. And sometimes people would rather be at a psych unit rather than at a normal prison. And so they'll drop a slip on their ass saying that they're thinking about killing themselves or something like that. They'll get thrown under psychiatric watch, act crazy for a while just to go to a psychiatric unit. And apparently they dope you up a pretty decent amount in there where like, I've heard stories of people saying that they went that route one time of getting locked up, and they're like, "Dude, I just lost like 3 years of my life. I don't know what the fuck happened. I just kind of like sobered up in a halfway house."
No shit.
Yeah, they said that's what it felt like.
Is the bottom bunk the preferred bunk?
Yeah, it's easier to get in and out of the bottom bunk.
Okay. Yeah. You don't have to
otherwise, you're constantly jumping up and down the shit. And I was young, and so like sometimes I would get like
still young asshole.
Sometimes they don't have the best of selections, and I'm so like my cellmates have like like fucked up knees or some shit like that, or they're a little bit older than me by like a good bit, and so they're a lot of people want to play the medical card to not have to do this or that. Like the best one to get is a heat exemption, so they can't make you go work out in the fields, and you can it's like a free excuse to just take a fucking break. Yeah, it really, yeah. And people would try to get all sorts of exemptions for all sorts of shit. People would try to play the religious card to not have to shave, where they would do what they would call a clipper shave. Yeah. So I think it was like an Islamic exemption where they said that a razor could not touch their head or something like that. Wow. And so they'd use the clippers, and they use clippers to shave the beard down, and they would have to have a pass for that though. Although in some of the IED units I saw, they just wouldn't make them shave their beard.
I have heard stories of inmates getting themselves. This is back in the 90s, though. Like small televisions with their commissary money, or trading it through. Were inmates allowed to have like little small personal items, like television, like a 14-inch or 19-inch television?
Okay, so at my ID unit, I had a TV in my cell. But that was because I was at Ramsey 2. And Ramsey 2 was a prison that was made in 1903, 1907, something like that. It wasn't even designed to have electricity. And later on, the Supreme Court had ruled that having cells that small was cruel and unusual punishment. And so they had to make a concession to make it legal to keep that prison open. So what they did was the cell doors stayed open. They just stayed open, and they could lock it down, but they only did that whenever they were like shaking down the whole prison. But your cell door just stayed open and walked out into the day room, and there was no TV in the day room. You had a TV in each cell. And you could plug your headphones into it to watch TV.
Right. Yeah, these are headphones. Okay. Were there?
Yeah, and you could get headphones from a radio.
Right. So, were there prison artists, like guys who would like do art on envelopes and stuff for you if you were sending out mail or
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was some of the people that like a lot of people would hustle to try to make ends meet, because not everybody has you don't get paid for anything you do
at all. So
the only way to get money, not at all. Texas is one of the states that does it like that. I think in California they pay like their firefighters like a dime an hour or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
something.
But it's something though.
But it is something.
It's basically.
Well, I was going to make a joke.
But Texas just is just like, haha, fuck you. Gives you actually nothing.
Well, that's why when you were saying that, somebody would buy the guy, a tube of toothpaste. To me, it's like, for California, that's like, shit, dude, I worked 6 months for that thing. You know what I mean? Like that's a big fucking deal to give someone anything.
It can
or
be.
Jules
and
that's 2 weeks worth of work, but
So if you wanted like a big poster board thing, they usually charge about like $20 for something like that. And there are some really good artists. And I mean, really, in retrospect, I should have been buying them all. I should have had every artist just going nonstop and try to resell these things, because I guarantee you I could resell them for more than $20, because a lot of them are pretty dang good.
A lot of stupid people buy stupid art too. So yeah, art is subjective, Ray. I don't know if you knew that.
Most of it's stupid.
Well, the return is the prison economy is weird. An hour of labor is worth about 25 to 50 cents, depending on what it is, usually.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any risk involved, it's usually worth a little bit more. Like, I want to say I probably paid my tattoo artist about $1 an hour.
What are they tattooing you with?
Oh, this was a made tattoo gun, but it has like a bent metal piece that has a magnet attached to it, and they have a relay that they got out of an oven, and and it's a tattoo gun. It sits there, and the magnet vibrates on this thing, and they have a needle that they get right when they got these like steel push brooms. Right when they get new ones in, someone will go and clip off a bunch of those like steel bristles and bring those things out. And you can get some sandpaper from the furniture factory and put it in the middle of a fan. Use that to sharpen a needle and use that as your tattoo gun.
No shit. What do they use for ink?
So there's actually a craft store or a craft shop where people are actually making shit, where there's like a leather craft shop where people pay for their own stuff and they're making saddles and shit like that, trying to sell it at the rodeo or where the fuck ever to try to make some money. And they have like calligraphy and shit like that. So they're getting actual ink that they just buy, and they'll smuggle it out of the craft shop.
Wow. So that big ass tattoo on your back featured in the episode of Art of 121, that was all done in prison.
Yeah, that's all prison.
No shit. Wow. That's actually pretty good. Like that's a pretty impressive piece.
Yeah, for you'd never guess that it was a prison piece anyway.
No,
it looks
all.
really odd. A lot of it is like some shit that I kind of self-drawn, where I would give like reference pictures, and they'd kind of like put it all together. And it's an odd looking piece because a lot of the stuff on it is like old esoteric symbolism. So people have maybe seen something like that around, but they can't quite place what it is.
Right. You know, that's why I love doing these podcasts, Ray, because I never know what direction I'm going to go in. Like, I thought it'd be easy just going like prison violence and prison rape, but like that shit's not interesting right now because I'm more interested in like the socio-economic politics of the fucking prison. Like, so
people, one of the big things was washing clothes. You charge someone like 50 cents to 25 cents to like wash their pants or something like that, because people would have an extra set of prison clothes. They tried to get brand new clothes right when they come off the truck, and people would have those things washed with bleach on the side. They never saw the actual big community wash, because as soon as that happened, it would turn it like an off-white. It was never, they called them ice whites. And you wear your ice whites when you go to visitation if you're seeing your kids or your family or something like that. That was kind of a thing that people would do. I wouldn't do it. I didn't give a shit. I would find the rattiest fucking shit I could find to look all fucked up. Be like, yeah, that's what it's actually like.
So are there like prison politics? Like are there leaders like alpha males? Yeah. So
so every major group has a speaker.
Yeah. Do they get together for a meeting?
Sometimes, kind of.
Yeah.
Prime example. There's like being the generic white boy gang. There's a Wood in Texas. They're like, I'm a Wood. So it's all the other white dudes that aren't like necessarily Nazis or some shit like that, but they fuck around doing stuff, and they all cut for one another, and they got their little handshakes and shit like that. Well, there's usually a speaker for any given pod, because in any given pod there's going to be, like a dozen Woods, and then there's going to be maybe another gang out there will have like 5 or 6 of them, and another gang will have like 5 or 6 of them, and you never know. And any given group will have somebody that speaks for everyone. So if something happens that's involved with, it's under their umbrella, they'll have one dude be like, hey, this is how it's going down.
No shit. Were you involved in any of these groups, or did you stay neutral?
I was pretty much always neutral. I joke about it even. I remember saying that I was the speaker for the hoes.
I guess you got to be careful because someone will think you're an actual hoe.
Oh, so being a hoe is just someone that's a bitch, basically.
Oh.
Like it's kind of weird because there's like prison etiquette. It's kind of weird. There's like 3 major things you can say where basically someone's like obligated to fight. It's like, all right, well, we got to fight now. You shouldn't have said that.
Really?
If you call someone a bitch, a pussy, or a hoe, you're basically obligated to fight. That's just kind of what it is.
I call Matty that all the time. I guess Matty and I have to fight.
I mean, it's basically understood from anybody that if you call them a pussy and they don't fight you over that, then then you're a fucking pussy. Then and you don't want to wear that jacket. You can't wear that jacket. I mean, if you are, be ready to back it up in some way that people aren't expecting anyway. So, but the thing is, that's universal. That's understood. And it's actually, if you call someone a pussy and they just immediately call you out to fight, then whatever fucking happens. Like, you shouldn't have been fucking talking shit.
Yeah. fucking Ray in your construction site. I don't know if you knew this, Adam, but Ray works in construction. And
Yeah, I do.
he
Yeah.
calls
I'm
people
aware.
bitches and pussies all the time. I don't know why he does that. He's a boss.
I still kind of got a complex about it, man. Like, there's one time a guy that I was my boss, I ended up taking his job. He had kind of like insinuated that I was a pussy, and I was so pissed. I was like, man, I will fight this motherfucker out on the street right now. I'm like I was like, ooh,
Wow.
man, don't be calling me a fucking pussy. And
better watch
Texas
it,
has
Ray.
mutual combat laws.
Adam's going to take
Like,
your
yeah.
job, Ray. You get paid for bumpers and shit. God damn.
Yeah. Nice.
Ray, you look so intimidated.
No, I'm texting you my address right now so we can set up a fight. That's,
shit.
There's nothing to do until then.
You have to come to Texas. Actually, I think. Wait, no, I don't think California has any mutual combat laws. I think Washington State does.
Oh,
No,
California
fucking listen.
has like, you can't look at someone weird in California without getting sued. You know, it's fucking ridiculous.
Or being a racist. Just come to Connecticut. Like, I think Ray's coming out in November. Randy will be out there too. He doesn't know it yet, but he'll be there. You know, you should just come up at him.
I can't leave the state.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah,
Oh
nobody
yeah,
has to
I'll be able to
know.
leave the state in like PlayStation 6, maybe.
Yeah.
Just put your blow up doll on your couch in the living room, and no one will know you're gone.
Yeah. You put your ankle bracelet on the blow up doll.
I never had one.
Oh, good.
Usually that's for people that are like repeat offenders or that have a particularly egregious violent crime.
Yeah.
And even though it's weird, there's a lot of benefits that I qualified for that if I had like a drug charge or something like that, I couldn't qualify for like any type of like welfare, social security, anything like that. It disqualifies you from all that, having a drug charge in Texas anyway.
Really?
I was like, damn.
Yeah, we
Like,
can
why
do
does
a
fucking
drug
having a
charge.
drug charge make it so you can't get Section 8 housing? That's
I
fucked
love
up.
that you shot a dude, got in a massive gunfight, and we're hustling a lot of drugs. And you're like, yeah, the ankle bracelets, those are for guys with like real criminal charges. It's like what I did. That's cakewalk.
Usually this is for people who do like home invasion situation.
Yeah.
Like if someone kicks somebody's door, like I knew a dude that had that ended up being his case. He got out with an ankle bracelet and he had kickdoored somebody and shot him in the spine and paralyzed him.
Wow.
Wow.
And like I shot someone, but I didn't like permanently hurt this guy. And I did actually fuck him up pretty bad. I hit him in the liver, but
But fuck that guy.
it was with a 22, man.
Wait, have you talked to that guy
really,
since? Like,
nah, I've never talked to the dude before or after, only during. And nor do I really want to.
okay.
I mean, really, there's a lot of situations where I could have recused myself from the situation, but man, in the moment, it's kind of hard. And on top of that, like, it really fucked with me, man, and I wasn't sleeping at all. So I was just kind of going by the fucking seat of my pants.
Yeah. That's how I live my life, Adam. By the seat of my pants, making it up as I go along. So listen, I spent too much time on the Jules shit. So Adam, guess what? You get to come back. But do you have any stories in prison that you haven't told on other podcasts that maybe you feel like sharing today?
Well, I'm trying to think of.
I know I hate to put you in the spot
some
like
good
that.
ones. Well, there was a real clusterfuck of a day. So I was at San Saba unit, and San Saba is in the smack dab middle of Texas almost. And this place fucking sucked. This was like the transfer facility that I spent most of my time at. And there's only one good thing about it, and that it was air conditioned. There's only like 5 prisons that are air conditioned in the whole of fucking Texas. Wow. And 3 of them are medical units. And this one was an education unit. It was for people trying to get an associate's degree, but I already had a college degree. So I was just kind of there. And this place, normally there's nothing going on. This place used to be a TYC facility. Like it was a juvie place that got converted to an adult prison, but they kept the fucking prison guards. And it wasn't that long ago that it was converted. So most of the people, a lot of them still work there. So they run this place like we're a bunch of fucking kids. And most of the time there isn't anything going on. Like people are just maybe working out or something like that. Well, I had a crazy fucking like day in the pod. Somehow everybody's shenanigans just kind of met together at the exact same time, and it became a real fucking high tense situation. So this guy came on our pod. He was a Bible bully. That's the best way I can describe this dude. This guy came in going like, "I'm the most Christian motherfucker here. If anybody has a problem with that," and I'm like, "The fuck's wrong with this guy?" And he would get mad when people wanted to watch like Jerry Springer and shit. He was fucking weird. Well, there was also some like some of the Woods, like the meth trio, they're getting together and they're tattooing. I want to say they're tattooing like wood grain fucking lightning bolts above their dick or something like that. It's something like that. I could probably look it up in my journal. I'd have to go back and look this up again to get a more accurate story. And really, like this was like a letter home. My journal is also like a letter home, so I kind of have to decode what the fuck I'm talking about. But and also, the dude was smoking weed. He fucking smuggled in ass weed. I was like, and this dude, I was actually cool with the guy, and he was like, "Come on, man, just smoke this weed with me, man." And I'm like, "No, I'm not smoking your shit weed, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck." So here's what happened. You got this Bible bully. He's gambling. He's gambling over a game of Scrabble.
Of course he is.
And he fucking loses. And one of the Bible bully's problem is this dude's fucking is a broke joker. He's got like no money. He'll like wash people's clothes for cash and shit like that. And that's like cash is like ramen noodle soups and stamps. That's what it translates to. And this guy beat him. And this is fucking red. And I mean, a fucking ginger kid that's like, like built like a hick and is like 5'7" is fucking calling out this Bible bully dude that's like 6'1" and jacked because he works out all the time. And I'm like, and this guy's like, "Yeah, that's right. I want to get paid right now. I want to get paid right now because I don't think you got it." And this guy, being actually broke, gets super butthurt about it. And he's like, "Fuck that. You're not going to talk to me that way." Goes to the bathroom, starts fucking talking shit. And the fight breaks out. Well, man, Red gets his fucking ass handed to him, fucking bad. Like he runs in there. They throw a couple punches back for it, but this dude catches him across the head. This guy falls over, bangs the side of his head against that metal toilet, and splits his ear open.
Oh God!
And he gets back up, and this dude he gets socked a couple more times before he gets out of the bathroom. He's like, "Oh fuck that!" And this dude's ear is like split, like through the cartilage.
Oh God! Oh.
Yummy.
Like you could grab the pieces of the ear and be like,
gross, gross.
Oh man! And he's like, "Man, when a guard sees this, I think that I'm just gonna tell him that I slipped in the shower." I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You gotta tell them you slipped in the shower and hit a dozen fists on the way down. There's no way that they're gonna believe you fell in the shower and looked like this."
Yeah.
Because he's got like goose eggs all over his fucking head. Like he's just got like random parts of his skull that are all swollen up from getting punched. And so, but the day before, this guy had fucking smoked his ass weed with someone else. And on top of that, this other guy has a fresh fucking tattoo on. And then this fight breaks out. There's no hiding this. And everybody's up to shenanigans. Normally, there's nothing going on. Maybe someone's getting a tattoo that might last a week, and then everybody's back to their best behavior for like a month or something before someone might be able to like get some dip or cigarettes or something like that. People or they'd be piercing themselves. One dude got ball bearings put in his dick one time. Now, okay. So back to this fucking fight. Of course, these guards fucking saw this shit, and immediately they start pulling everybody out one by one. They're like, "What do you know?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I didn't see anything." Thankfully, this was one of the few times where, like, I literally had nothing to worry about. I'd actually got some of the base work of my tattoo laid down, and that didn't cost much. That was like $10 to have like the majority of the outline done. And it was mainly it was mainly the cost of the ink that was the issue, because I just supplied the ink, and that cost like $3, something like that. It really wasn't that big a deal. But that was actually completely healed over, so you really wasn't fresh anymore. They really couldn't say anything about it. Well, they didn't notice the tattoo, and they didn't notice that, like, they didn't figure anything out about the weed. And actually, things were cool for a couple of hours. And old Bible Bully was like, man, I really appreciate y'all holding it together. And I was like, that's real of y'all. And then eventually they just came and grabbed his ass and got him out of there. I'm like, oh, they got him. Because there's a camera in the pod, too. There's only one, and it doesn't see everything. But I'm sure they could find enough where they were like, all right, fine, just go grab his ass. Well, I guess someone in the middle of all that shit must have said something about those dudes smoking weed, because the next day, bam, they yanked the dudes that were smoking weed out and fucking piss test them.
Oh no.
One of them came back, one of them didn't. Actually, one of the dudes tried to psych out of there. He acted like he was going to hang himself, and he ended up going to a psych unit or something.
Really? Oh man.
Yeah.
See, Matty, that's what you have to look forward to, buddy. That's what you got. That's what you got coming.
And people do weird shit in there, man. Like, you can't really tell a man how to do their time. And on top of that, you don't have much. And so, because you don't have much initially, you don't have much to lose either.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, if somebody doesn't have much to lose, they're very dangerous or very stupid.
Yeah. In fact, some of the dudes that are in Supermax, they have so little that they look at it like you can't take any more from them.
Yeah.
But I've only heard stories about people that managed to get up to max and shit like that, because really no one wants to be there. It's a really shitty situation to be in. Like, all my prison story times, they're all from Gen Pop. That's a G3 classification. They have trustee camp, Gen Pop. Then they have like security threat stuff. They have like high security, and then they have max, and max is for like the real fucked up shit where people have like killed other people in prison and shit, where they don't let these guys out of their cells and shit.
God damn. Oh. Thanks for sharing that, man. That was
yeah.
I'm sure you got tons of them in your journal there, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that's kind of story worthy. Like, my cellie one time smuggled a mouse through Shakedown. That's how effective these prison guards are. I mean, you think of the worst asshole cops, and you have to deal with motherfuckers like this every day. Only they're the Kmart off-brand version of cops.
Oh no.
I mean, you got people, this one chick, she was built like the Grimace from McDonald's. Linebacker Lewis is what we called her. And she literally only did the job for the government benefits, for the insurance and shit like that, because she owned like a big ass cattle farm out in San Saba. And this chick, she would put on her fucking gloves to search shit, and her fingers look like fucking sausages. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? How can they let this chick be a prison guard? Like, she looks like she's about to just topple over at any given moment. Practically useless. Like, the physical requirements to be a prison guard, I think you have to be able to drag 50 pounds. That's the physical requirement. Wow. And you got some real assholes in there, man, because some of these prison guards, they really got a lot more sway over you than a cop over a normal citizen. So some of these people are kind of sadistic, dude. Like, you can kind of tell like what the deal is with these guards. And there's a couple of cool ones. They're out there. Most of them aren't, though. In fact, I've actually seen like the bright-eyed guard go in there, become jaded and a fucking asshole within about 3 months. That's about the normal time it takes for someone new to become jaded and a fucking dick.
I'd go in there thinking I could change things and be nice to everybody and make everybody like be better. And then 3 months later, I'd be like, fuck this shit. Fuck you. Fuck everybody. Fuck this job. Fuck. Fuckity fuck.
It's broken.
Sorry, Ray,
fuck it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to, Rem, you'd be like, yeah, I'm the cool one. I would, when you're strip searching someone, you find something, you're like, hey, what are you going to use this for? And if they're like, oh, I was going to fight some dude, he called me pussy. Like, I got to go fight him. And you'd be like, all right, well, So if you're going to do it in the cafeteria, my next shift is tomorrow at noon. So make sure you do it then so I can watch. Kind of thing.
Yeah. Or do it when I'm not around so I don't get involved. Or just stay with your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, not the face.
Totally
It's like
me.
Anchorman.
Oh, Adam, you're so interesting, man. I could talk to you forever, but I can't talk to you forever tonight. So, Ray, I think we have time for one more. We can do HDNB's Dick of the Year, or we can do Thinking with Your Dickman. I haven't seen the Thinking with Your Dickman email. What do you think?
Does anybody have a coin? We can do. I'm really curious to see what Hot Drummer News Babe has for us.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. I guess we have to do Thinking with
You
Your
want
Dickman.
segments? We've
That
got
works.
segments.
Roll punches.
It's Thinking with Your Dickman.
Look at Randy. Randy is so high out of his mind right now. He's been smoking medical grade marijuana since like 8 o'clock this morning. He's just so fucked up. Look at him. Look at him. He didn't even leave a voicemail for the show today. Ray, read the email.
So
I
Jack,
keep waving at him and he's like, just doesn't even respond. He's just staring off into the
He doesn't know where he is. It's so funny.
like, what are we even doing right now? Where are we? What day is it? So Jack writes in, I live in a 2-bed apartment, and this actually, you know what? I read this one a minute ago. Adam, this one might be right up your alley for giving some advice, but let me get through it first. So
All right.
I live in a 2-bed apartment near the southern end of Chicago, in which I run an illegal ferret and hedgehog business. My landlord left a notice on my door that warns me of an upcoming inspection. With about 24 of these creatures staying with me, there's not a great way to hide them. Transporting them temporarily is a struggle too. Got any tips on how to unsuspiciously allow my landlord to perform the inspection without getting reported for my illegal activities?
Well, first of all, can we talk about the Chicago flag again? Okay. I saw a funeral for a police officer and they draped the casket in the Chicago flag. It's so crazy to me that Chicago loves their flag so much. And it looks just like the Israeli flag. It's amazing. Adam, you know the Chicago flag? You've seen it?
No, I couldn't place it.
It's white. It's got 2 bars and 3 red stars. CM Punk wears them on his tights. Now, you don't know the Chicago flag? Come on, Adam. You're the smartest freaking guy here.
Everybody knows the Chicago flag. Come on.
It's like a flag, man. That's like way the fuck up there. If it's outside of Texas, that's like another country.
Why do cities have flags? Like, I just don't understand. Like, Grant did not do a good enough job explaining it to me. When he was
They
on
all
last
suck
time.
too. What city has a cool flag?
None. Oh, Sacramento, right? Ray, that was like looked like a watercolor painting. Yeah, that was.
Oh, did one break the mold?
Yeah,
there's always got to be one.
Just one. All right. How are we getting these ferrets out of Jack's apartment here?
You fucked, lad. Just accept your fate.
I mean, you got to
a
bribe the
legal
landlord.
ferret. How profitable is illegal ferreting?
I don't know. You were doing illegal stuff. Illegal
Don't look
stuff's
at
probably
me.
got its own.
I didn't sell animals.
No, but I'm saying just illegal stuff. There's got to be a market. Like you
There's
market
a lot
up
of illegal
Profit
shit.
margins gotta be high.
It might have nothing to do with animals.
I don't know. Let me see if I can find out how much.
Now, his whole thing about him not being able to transport it or having it not be easy. Yeah, there's a difference between not being easy and being impossible. If it's really an issue, you got to just figure it out, man. Sometimes it's like that.
That's what separates us.
Like,
from
man,
animals,
one time,
figuring things
like
out.
one time we had to move trap houses. Fuck, that sucked.
Yeah.
Because we had about a day to get the fuck out of our old trap house and get to the new one. So we have 5 dudes in a U-Haul, and we threw everything in that fucking U-Haul. And I got like, I'm in like a sedan behind the U-Haul while someone else is driving it, and I got the fucking safe in my passenger seat. And this thing has so much drugs in it and so much money in it. Like, God, the most incriminating thing to ever be traveling with. And I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
Jack,
you got a head start, buddy. Like you have a warning. You know the inspection's coming up. I hope you get this podcast before the inspection actually happens. We've got a couple of days. So if this comes to you in time, you have time to figure this one out. This is what separates us from animals, is that we can figure out problems and we can solve them without just grabbing a stick and shoving it down a termite hole and then eating termites. All right. That's super cool, but that's basically what you're doing is you're going to shove a hole. What I'm saying, Jack, is you got to gather up your ferrets. You got to get them out of your house. Like, I know it sucks, but you got to put them in backpacks. You got to put them in Tupperware, Rubbermaid containers. Like I have like 600 CDs in a Rubbermaid container, Ray, when I moved, and they're still in that thing. Like, I think you can do that with ferrets and just go for a ride. I mean, how big is it? It's a 2-bedroom apartment, so you probably have 4 or 5 rooms. Bruh. I mean, what the hell was that? The inspection probably take 25 minutes. Just go for a ride with your ferrets in your car, right? I mean, what are you writing to me about? Jack, I'm a professional advice giver. I've been giving advice since 2012 on the greatest 114 episodes of any podcast outside the Rich Dickman Show, called Torn Think Tank. You may have heard of it. Get those ferrets out and then bring them back. All right. He gave you a heads up. That's all you really need. You got the heads up. You got the warning.
Call in a favor.
Yeah. Or grease the palms, right? You got a landlord. I don't know if it's a dude or a chick. It doesn't matter. It's 2020. Offer a favor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, give him a free ferret.
That's what I was going to say. Ferret or hedgehog, one or the other.
Just start throwing ferrets at him to make the inspector go away. It's a weird name for a hand job,
but okay. Yeah. All right. Throw a ferret at him.
Just throw a ferret at him. He walks in, you're like, duck. So I did look it up. It says they're roughly $70 to $250 each. They're actually somewhat similar in cost, ferrets and hedgehogs, despite apparently they're illegal.
Jesus.
But I think
so. It's got like $1,400 of ferrets.
Yeah, so it sounds like a pretty.
You can take an L on that if you really have to.
Yeah, if you like,
Randy, you
let
can
them
sell
out in the field or something.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't want to just lose $1,400, but it's not the end of the world. Just saying.
Yeah, I wonder what the consequences are. Like, do you go to jail for that?
When you were hustling drugs, Adam? What's the most money you made in a day?
The most I made in a day?
Yeah.
Ooh, no, the quickest I ever made money. One time I made $6,000 in 15 minutes.
No shit.
Yeah, that was a badass deal. Huh?
Did you ever make $100,000 in a day?
No, nothing like that. That's a big ass deal. If you're making like $100,000, I mean, really, we did well enough for ourselves, but we weren't really just like breaking the bank. I'd done the math at some point, and it was the equivalent of making like between like 70 and 80 grand a year, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was worth it for sure.
Yep.
But like you couldn't just get that ridiculous with what you had going on, but you could still have fun with it though.
Yeah. I mean,
but like, so with that deal, it was, man, I had like I had like cargo shorts that were like full of money. Mm-hmm. This was one of the ones that I had to do in the parking lot. So, I was buying a bunch of dro, and basically what, like all that money, some of it was cash, but some of it was drugs. So really it was like 1,500 cash in a pound of dro that I had basically already sold.
Oh,
And so, but that whole deal took like 15 minutes, and I did it with somebody else's money. That was one of the damn deals. Man, sometimes shit would just line up like that, where someone's buying, someone's selling at the same time, and you can just kind of middleman some shit and just yank a bunch of shit out the middle of it, and just do it for free, just being a connection.
I'm in the wrong business. I start selling drugs. All right,
we do that in construction. There's
Ray, you work
there's
in
what
construction.
They call in construction. Yeah, so there's these what they call them like disabled veterans and things like that, female-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, and these guys will go and literally they're just like a paper shell company, but they have an in. These companies, this is how fucked up California is. They're like, we need someone who's a disabled veteran that's a contractor on this job. So they'll just go fucking hire the guy. And you know what he does? Nothing. He literally just transfers the paper and subcontracts it out to someone else and just shaves whatever tens of thousands of dollars off the top. It's fucked up. It's the same thing like you're saying, where it's like, hey, No harm, no foul. Like, it's fucking there. But yeah, it's just funny. It's if it works out, nice. You don't have to hardly do anything. You just skim off the top.
I heard of an Australian dude doing that. He had some programming gig that he got hired for, and he subcontracted 2 Chinese dudes to do it or something, and he barely paid them anything, and he was like making like pretty handsome figure off of that. That's pretty damn funny.
You can do
Matty,
it.
when you're off again, you got to come back on the show. I got to wrap up soon, but you got to come back on the show and talk about the Chinese influence in Australia and how they're trying to take over there and Africa. All right. Yeah, he's laughing because he knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right, he got a thumbs up. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Real quick, HDNB took the time to send this in. I'm going to play it. It's a Dick of the Year candidate. Right. Ray, make sure you take notes on this. So when we do Dick of the Year at the end of the year, we have this one, okay?
Okay.
Wow. So I think I should probably apologize in advance for this one, you guys. But it's just, one of those prime examples of why we just can't have nice things. Buckle up. So last week, a hospital in southeastern Oklahoma admitted a guy who was severely bleeding, and he had a horrible story to tell. 2 men, according to the 28-year-old victim, had surgically removed his testicles as he lay on a wooden table in the remote cabin in the woods, obviously.
Oh my God.
And one of those men said he was a cannibal who kept the body parts in a refrigerator. And the next day, lo and behold, sheriff's deputies searched the cabin and found medical equipment, bloody refuse, drugs, and what appeared to be testicles frozen in a bag, according to an affidavit. The 2 men named by the victim, Bob Lee Allen and Thomas Evans Gates, face felony charges of conspiracy to commit and performing unlicensed surgery in a crime that has stunned pretty much everyone. So as it turns out, the victim isn't named in the documents. It volunteered for the surgery after meeting one of these guys on a website that advertised castrations.
Of course
they talked on Skype, and Alan told him he had 15 years experience doing similar surgeries and would remove his testicles free of charge. Yeah. And after the 2-hour procedure, one of the guys said to this kid, he laughed and said he was a cannibal, and adding that he had a freezer full of body parts, and also claimed to have once killed a man while doing a similar surgery. They eventually brought him to the hospital because he started bleeding a whole lot, and they dumped him there. And then the 2 guys eventually got caught because they tried to visit him in the hospital. So these 2 guys are in massive trouble. But I really don't know who the Dick of the Week is here. I mean, it could be all 3. Is it the poor bag of frozen testicles? I don't know. But goddamn, I'm really sorry, but fuck. Have a good rest of the night. See ya.
Oh boy, Ray, mark that down. Go ahead, Adam.
So the Dick of the Week is that guy's dick because it was the one that made it.
Yeah.
The rest of it, they lost the balls as compatriots, but he made it through.
Yeah, this isn't Balls of the Week or Balls of the Year. This is Dick of the Week and Dick of the Year. So absolutely. Adam's got it right there. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Yeah.
The actual Dick of the Week. I feel like those guys visiting him. So they dumped him off at the hospital. He's recovering. And they show up as like a fucking follow-up. And they're like, hey, man, what's going on?
Hey.
Like, to me, I guarantee you they went in there gloating. They were like, hey, man, how's it going? You doing all right?
The balls were tasty. Yeah.
That was a dick.
When I cut off your balls.
Yeah.
Soup out
You need any more surgery?
God damn. Thank you,
And the cops,
HDNB.
they're like, how do you know this guy again?
That was amazing.
Yeah, I know him from Craigslist.
Yeah. Guys are so stupid. Like there's people who volunteer. There's men who volunteer to get eaten. Like that's a real thing. God, their name's Matty from Australia. All right, Adam, thank you so much for coming on tonight with us. You are always a treasure and a fun guest. I love having you here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have you back again real
my
soon.
pleasure.
And if you'd like to be a correspondent next for the election night, let me know. All right, love to have you. But to go ahead and plug all of anything that you want to plug, my man.
Oh, well, you got to go to my website, rimdrinkscome.com.
God damn it.
I already got it bookmarked.
Oh, man, I've been curious about the traffic at that website because that's what I plugged on the Dick Show.
Yeah.
And so I was like, who? It just sounds so outlandish. I'm like, someone had to have been like, rimdrinkscome.com. That's not a website.
Probably
well,
okay.
Excited. I stand corrected. I guess it does go places.
Or something. Yeah. God damn. You doing bonus episodes with Dave?
Oh yeah. So I do monthly bonus episodes with Dave. You can check those out at patreon.com/NFHC podcast.
Yeah. All right. Adam makes that, I'm sure, because Dave. It's Dave.
Yeah.
Fuck Dave, right? Dave, go fuck yourself. He's not listening to this anyways. Go fuck yourself. All right. Yeah. Let's Ray, say the words, man.
Let's bring this baby home.
That's right. We're gonna bring this baby home because we're going long tonight. But thank you all for listening to The Rich Dickman Show. We do appreciate every single one of you who does listen to us and all the extra listeners this week because Adam brought them along, all 9 3/4 of you. You're all beautiful, and the Lord looks kindly upon you all, and you will be blessed in the afterlife, in his heaven, in his grace. That was weird. If you want, and you want to support the show, you can tell a friend, leave a review. And if you like us even more than that, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/Rich Dickman. Ray and I will be getting back on the sticks and doing the rest of Liquor Fueled number 2, Matty. So we'll get that to you very soon. But we're giving you stuff almost every week and getting bonus clips, bonus shows. And if you get in at the high tier, you get your very own custom t-shirt, just like Kristen did. All right. So be sure to check out all the fun stuff we do over there. Find us online at richdickman.com for all your Rich Dickman needs. Click the merch tab. You get yourself a mask, get yourself a t-shirt. We've got essential wear. We've got the Ray and Rem t-shirt. We've got the Rich Dickman Show logo. We've got the old classic Huell t-shirt as well. So you can check that out. And if you're really looking for some Huell stuff, you can go to Amazon.com, search Rich Dickman, and you will find the El Abogado Attorney at Law t-shirt as well as the Eat the Rich t-shirt because it's election season. And I mean, I don't know about you, Ray or Adam, but I'm tired of rich people telling me what to do. They can all go fuck themselves. So eat every single one of them. Be sure to listen to our friends at NFHC Podcast, the Not For Human Consumption Podcast. Love all of them over there. And of course, Adam does his bonus episodes with Dave. And Dave's an asshole. Fuck Dave. RichDickmanShow@gmail.com.
Fuck with Dave.
Yeah, fuck with Dave. Absolutely. If you want to be an election night correspondent for the Rich Dickman Show, send us an email, richdickmanshow@gmail.com, or you can tweet me at RemDickman. You can tweet at Sir Zero with an E for executive producer Randy. Randy, thank you for your help tonight. And of course, there's producer Ryan at RyanTRDS. And of course, my mother at Rem_Mama. And you got Matty from Australia is here, but he doesn't do Twitter anymore. So fuck you, Matty. We got to talk about the Chinese influence in Australia next time you're off, buddy. Ray, how do we get a hold of you?
On Twitter at Jules Wenfeld, or if you have construction-related questions, call me at 860-316-4776 and leave a voicemail. We'll return the call
construction-related, need advice. I'm a professional advice giver. And you know what? Go ahead and, Jules is looking for suggestions for guests. So if you want to offer a suggestion to her for a guest, she is at Jules RPG on Twitter, and I think it's at Personal EXP Pod. You can tweet those two and say, hey, you should have Rem back on. I would love to do a podcast with Jules. Tell her to come on the Rich Dickman Show. It would be fun, Ray.
His name's Rem.
Yeah.
He's a woman. He's doing this pretty good thing.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you, Matty from Australia. Goddamn. But that's it for tonight. Adam, thank you. Ray, thank you. Randy, you doing okay, buddy? Matty, good to see you, buddy. I see Svensson Heart of Tanks in the chat. You guys bit.do/TRDS1 to join the live show every single week, Thursdays at 10 for the most part, except for election night, Tuesday. Election night, need correspondence? Let me know. I will see you all later. So will Ray and Adam will have you back soon. Good night, everybody.
Yes.
No, I did that wrong. Good night. See ya.
Nice.
Bye. Go right. Made it under 2 hours.
Shit.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you, man. You look handsome as hell. Look at you over there. All Australian.
Oh,
shit.
Ram, I got a classic soundbite that I think you'll appreciate.
Oh no.
You guys want to go do some construction?
Is that the Iron Sheik?
Yeah, that's the Iron Sheik. Said he's gonna put him in the camel clutch and break his back, fuck his ass, and make him humble.
Make him humble.
Oh, yeah, Adam, I got a question for you, mate.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So I was at work yesterday, and these two girls came in, and they had heavy accents. And I said, "Where's that accent from?" And they said, "Guess." And I said, "Louisiana." And they looked at me like I just called their mother a fucking whore. And they were like, we're from fucking Texas, mate. It's the next state across. And I was just like, is there some Louisiana, Texas beef that I don't know about?
There's a general beef of everybody hating Louisiana. Man, it's just different there.
Hey,
Louisiana's
easy. Sarah
fucking
Starr
weird.
lives there. Okay? Easy, Ray. You couldn't send proper mail there, you stupid asshole.
Louisiana doesn't know how to deliver mail.